Hi, my name is Drewish, and I'm the author of the Captain Love series. I want to tell you all about the second book, Rise of the Pirate King. Yeah, that's a thing. And in this book, you're gonna get everything that you would expect from Captain Love. Yeah, you bet. And I'm blessed enough to be able to use an amazing creative team. If you know what I mean, it feels like the universe is caving in and you need love to the rescue. And it seems like nothing will be right again. You need love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. All right now. Now, Captain Love is a space trucker and a former war hero. There is even a legend that he may be immortal. He's accompanied by SPAID, who's a living AI. Yes, I said immortal. As in, he cannot die. It feels like the universe is caving in and you need love to the rescue. And it seems like nothing will be right again. You need love to the rescue. Captain Love to the rescue. Oh yeah. In this book, you'll get space pirates, sexy girls and science monks. There'll be bar fights, space battles, and a lot of awesome junk. There's nudity and violence and swearing within, so this book is mature. That means it's not made for children. And you feel like the universe is caving in, there'll be love to the rescue. And it seems like nothing will be right again. There'll be love to the rescue. Captain 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 Love to the rescue. Thank you for your time. Please back Captain Love and help me share this character with the whole world. And if you're not too busy, like and share this video and help me spread the love. Stay awesome.
Hey, what is up, people? I am having an interesting day. How are you doing, Ace?
I'm good, man. Just hanging out, enjoying my day off.
Yeah, you have a day off today? Is it a holiday?
Yeah,
What the hell?
yeah, no, it's amazing.
Is it a holiday? I really don't keep
I
up with this stuff very well.
think it was last Monday, but who knows? All these days I'll start to blend in together these days.
Dude, tell me about it. There was a time when I didn't have enough to do, and like then I got in my 20s. And yeah, and so like for forever now I'm like way too busy, but these days it seems really crazy because there's actually more stuff that I need to get done now than before. And so it seems as if like there's still stuff coming at me, so like I'm thinking, oh, okay, cool, I'm gonna have some time to get this done, but then like a client has an emergency or there's a new important thing that has to be addressed, a campaign that I'm neglecting because I'm too freaking busy, trying to find time to stream and bring my friends on, talk about their projects. It's just been, this last year has been absolutely nuts. And one of the reasons why is because I have been starting a new series. And that new series has to be paid for, which means that, before I launch it, because that's what I do, it's guaranteed. And yeah, it has cost a lot of money. So, I gotta bust my ass. And then, I those of you who follow, am actively working on my spiritual life you could say. I'm trying to be, more useful to God in general. And, I also, because of that, I got a nonprofit going, and that nonprofit requires a lot of effort. And, because raising money is not easy. So, what about you, man? Other than being your day off, what have you been up to?
Oh man, just trying to promote the book. Getting everything ready for the campaign that's gonna launch in April. So it's just grinding away. There's always something new that comes up, something else I gotta finish before I'm ready to launch. So it's that same old grind, man. I'm back at it.
Yeah, the man. I tell you, I man, it's like I often like look forward to retiring. just you know, but I know myself well enough to know that I'll just fill that time with something else that takes up all my time. Like it would be really nice to say, "Oh yeah, well, I'm retired. I'm gonna take it easy," and blah 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 blah. But that's such BS. It's like I'm gonna retire and then I'm gonna be like, writing more books or something. Trying to do movies more or something. It's gonna be, there's just no way I'm gonna be like taking it easy for real, right?
Yeah, man. We all need purpose. So right now,
Yeah.
this is ours.
Yeah, storytelling. So, you know what? Do you have where is, I don't know if I have, did you DM me the link to your mailing list, man, since you're on mailing list, right? For your book?
Yep.
Send me that in the DM. Yeah. So Captain Love is like on its 22nd or third day of this campaign, 24th day. I forget how many days it's been. Um, you know, I, and let me just tell everybody who is thinking about crowdfunding their campaigns something to realize. If you don't have time to promote your campaign, it's not going to do stellar. you know you need to promote your campaign. I have not been spending enough time promoting my campaign, and it's not doing well enough. So ideally, I'll be able to remedy that in enough time by the end of the campaign. Plus, it will go in demand, so I'll have the ability to um, continue to push it. I mean, obviously, I've already raised enough to fulfill, you know what I mean, orders and stuff, and I'll have, because that's just how it works. But I like to do a print run, so I have an actual number of books, because I have executive producers, and they all need to get their books. So it's like, so that's those people who are EPs. If you remember that back when we launched chapter 1 to Rise of the Pirate King, EPs paid in advance to have the entire 6 chapter series plus the final graphic novel. And yeah, they're still getting that has not changed. I'm a man of my word. I stick to my guns, even though my campaigns are not doing as good as they should. I am still doing this. Did you DM me that link, man?
Yep. Just send it to you.
All right, cool. Let's see here. Let's bring this up. All right, so let's put the link in the Chattelberry for everybody. And let's see here. What's this one called? It's called Ace Volume 2. You were all creative with it. Ace Volume 2. Kapow. There. Now that link is in the chat for everyone. So go over there and click on that. We're going to open this in a share window here. So yeah. Yeah. All right. It is, I obviously don't stream enough anymore, so I'm like awkward, but deal with it. All right, so you know what? I remember like all the prep work and that stuff that went along with live streaming was a pain in the butt. You know what I mean? It was just such a pain. And then it would be like, okay, I went through like an hour of prep work for an hour of live stream, and we got like 100 viewers. And I'm like, is that even worth it? It's like, you know. So now you guys are going to be just getting to fly by your pants dude that likes to just talk smack. I do have some cool stuff to talk about that I found on the internet. I don't know if you guys have heard about it yet, but if you have not, then it's breaking news for you. But hold on to your hats. Before we do that, let's check this out here. So we got Ace Volume 2. After defeating Akula,
Yep.
the Ace must deal with the new alien threats after his location has been revealed. So let's watch this video. I wonder if we can hear it. Can you hear that?
Yep.
Right. I think it's coming through my speakers here. It kind of is. Oops. Dude, this. There we go. That's Wi-Fi. What the hell? Say something, Ace.
Yep.
I can still hear you. Can you still hear the video? Because I can't.
Yep. Everything is good on my end.
Weird. I muted my speakers on this end, but so that's not creating feedback or anything?
No. Sounds good.
Cool. So it's just music. You don't have any lyrics or words or anything?
I don't know. I mean, it'd be hard for me to top Captain Love, so why even try?
I hope everyone tries. I want everybody to put a theme song out there. I'm trying to inspire people. You know what I mean?
No, man. I love this theme. To me, it speaks by itself. You know, like the Ace theme. I plan on using it for any future campaigns.
Yeah.
Kind of gives you that feel of what I want for the story. So.
Well, you don't need lyrics for a theme song. That is true. I mean, I bet both of us can sit here and sing the X-Men theme song from the 90s cartoon. You know what I mean? And it's got no lyrics. This is Bacchus now, but it really means you deposit your email in this area here. You see, guys, this area that says email address. This is where you type your email in, and then you must click the I agree to the terms. Then you click sign up. And what's going to happen is you're going to get an email that you have to click a link that says confirm. All right. I know that's a big hassle, but it's just a few extra steps. And then what do they get? What's the bonus? By signing up,
This oversized sticker by How Comics.
So an oversized sticker. See,
yeah, I showed the art on my Twitter. It looks it's pretty badass. It's one of my favorite pieces of either campaign. It's Hal did a great job with it.
Nice. You said it's on your Twitter?
Yep.
Let's see if I can find that in a short period of moments. So that's a nice piece you got going on right there, though.
Yep, that's from the epilogue story by Sweens from Oddity. He ended up doing the epilogue story in the first book also, so I brought him back for this one.
So the sticker, that's not the one you have pinned on your Twitter, is it?
I don't remember what I have pinned on my Twitter.
It's not handy, so I'm not going to pull it up. But then there's this, and so you're bringing back some of the same characters, like you're right.
Yep, Kula is back. Obviously, Ace is back. Then we're
really no, you're bringing back the hero.
I mean, I was questioning myself if I would replace him with minority female, but I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna stick through it.
You know, I'm wondering when they're going to take it to the next level. Like minority females aren't going to be enough. They're going to have to be handicapped minority females with personality defects. That's what it's going to have to be.
They've already started with the male version of that. The new replacement for Darkhawk is actually a minority character with some sort of like issue, disability or something. So yeah,
See,
it's already begun.
I would think it'd be funny to like give a comic book character a speech impediment. I think that'd be hilarious. You know what I mean? Because they'd have to like put that in the dialogue in the speech bubbles all the time. You have to see their speech impediment, and like people get confused if they didn't know it was a speech impediment. They would just think that somebody was an idiot when it came to the typing. Yeah. So everybody, if you do not already have submitted your email to Ace, you know what I mean? He's not going to do much to it. He's going to send you D-pics. That's it. You can live with those. So go up and sign up for Ace Volume 2 and, and show that some love. Yeah, because we're talking comic book love here. Comic book love here. And speaking of comic book love, we do have an active campaign. Yes, indeedy, Feed the Needy. I think we need to talk about it for a moment here. And that would be Captain Love. Now, so Captain Love, right, if you don't know, is a space trucker, famous war hero who travels the solar system with his companion SPAID, who is a living artificial intelligence. And he actually has an optical and audio implant in his head, which basically she hijacked. And so she lives in his head and he can't get rid of her, which makes for an interesting banter and dynamic between the characters. Captain Love and SPAID find themselves in unique situations as they try to, live their lives as, Captain Love tried to live his life as a space trucker. He reluctantly gets himself in all kinds of ventures, whether it be a friend he needs help or, someone's just trying to kill him. You know what I mean? So it's actually a fun series. A lot of people are inspired by the character. I would say that he's a combination of some of the most legendary, badass heroes, like Flash Gordon, James Bond. There's some Captain Kirk, some Han Solo in there. There's a little bit Jack Burton in there. Actually, there's a lot of Jack Burton in there, but we don't want that toxic masculinity escaping, right?
No, not at all.
So, but it would mean a lot to me if I could get anybody who's watching this, watching it now, watching it later, if you could do me the honor of backing Captain Love and showing your support by going in and clicking the back it button, and then or actually that doesn't quite cut it as well as picking one of these beautiful tiers here. We have just chapter 3 for $15, and I want you to notice that right next to that it says domestic shipping free on all perks. That means it ships free in the USA. So if you're outside the USA, obviously it's not shipping free. I've had a few people contact me, like they were actually confused. They were from the UK and they bought it, and then they were like had to pay shipping, and they're like, what the hell is this shipping? I'm like, how much was your shipping? I'm like, and they tell me, and I'm like, okay, well, how much would you normally pay shipping? It's like twice that. I'm like, it's like, because the amount of domestic shipping that is free to everybody in the USA is deducted from what would be the shipping to the country that you live in. So if, like, say I'm charging, like what everybody normally charges $10 shipping, right? So let's say $10 shipping domestic would be taken off the $25 shipping UK. You know what I mean? That would leave you $15 shipping. So that's the simple math on that. So if you're wondering, only in the United States is the shipping free, and that is on all perks. Ace, did you see the Captain Love statue?
I don't believe I have.
Well, here's a photo of it.
Oh, nice. How big
Yeah,
is that?
that is 7 inches tall.
Oh,
In fact, I happen to have one sitting here
ooh,
next to me.
here we go.
You see that guy?
Hell yeah.
That's how big it is. It is not tiny. It is huge.
Yeah, man, you could use that to bludgeon someone.
And you could, but you might damage it. You know what I mean? Maybe. I don't know. It's pretty
Yeah,
tough.
last resort, you know.
I mean, let me just say,
Yeah.
I know it's tough because you see, my cats have knocked it off my shelf at least 5 times, and it's still in pristine condition. So,
Nice.
so I know it's tough, right? um, yeah.
Yeah, I do gotta say that that free shipping for the US is a great deal. Like shipping is not cheap, people.
Mm-mm.
So you know, that's a little great bargain for anybody who wants to back it.
Yeah, you know what, here I have this like mindset that I'm trying to make it fair for everybody. You know what I mean? So what I've done is I took the approach of putting shipping realistic for shipping and handling, you know, and then what the price of the book would be, I just kind of like mashed that all together into one price. And the reason why is because I don't want to charge people, like $30 to get, a floppy comic. I mean, I mean, it's not that it's a bad thing to do to somebody. If they want to pay it, then that's awesome, right? I just also want to be able to, like get the same comic to other people without who don't pay shipping. You know what I mean? For a
Yeah,
reasonable price, and I don't want people to, to feel, what it is. It's me. It's all me. I just don't want to like charge that much for comic books. You know what I mean? That are floppies. I just don't. You know. I if I and so like because of the shipping cost, I just put it all together. And you know what? It might be stupid. I mean, it's that I'm just like not greedy at all. You know what I mean? It could be a stupid thing. It could be a negative character flaw in me, but I honestly am not greedy. What I want from these campaigns is I want to make enough money to pay for the next comic book to be printed, and I mean to be, completed. So if I can raise enough to pay my illustrator and my colorist, you know what I mean, and myself a little bit, because I do work on these things. I write them and I do the lettering. You know what I mean? If I can make enough to pay them, for the next release, then I consider that a complete success, right? What I really need from the campaigns is obviously enough to print the books, which I currently have. You know what I mean? So, I have enough to print myself, a complete set of books, and then also there's enough to ship out to my um, what do you call those guys? The EPs, executive producers. See, this is like my brain is just dying with my old age. It's just going. It's like it's just gonna like wave to me one day, and I'm gonna wonder what the hell's waving at me, and someone's gonna tell me that's your brain waving at you, and I'm like, really? Okay, so that might have been weird. All right, so Ace, what do you think of Captain Love? Have you read Captain Love? You've read Captain Love. I know you have.
yeah. I
Yeah,
backed
yeah.
the first couple.
Right.
I enjoyed, especially the origin story. Where it gives you some of like you know, what he was up to in the past before his current situation. I thought it was really well done. So definitely
Thank you.
yeah, go check it
Yeah.
out.
Now, speaking of that, in case anybody was curious, the origin story, which is known these days as Volume One, because I had to call it something, right? Just call it the origin story all the time. People are going to wonder what the hell you're talking about. You got the opportunity to get Volume One, Chapter 2, with your Chapter 3, all here on the Catch Me Up tier. And I'll give everybody a secret note that a lot of these perks you actually have the ability to add on a chapter 1 or a chapter 2 or a volume 1. So like if you've got, like, say if you've already got chapter 1 and chapter 2, you want to get chapter 3, but you never read volume 1, then you can buy your chapter 3 here and then do an add-on of volume 1. That is available. I closed the campaign for volume 1, and the chapter 1 campaign is also closed. Technically, the chapter 2 campaign is open, but there's really no point in going to that. The only reason why I have that open is because there are some people that need special, okay, like if I don't have both campaigns open, I can't do anything immediate to people in for chapter 2, right? Like if I want to, like somebody needs a special perk of something that's already printed to go with what they already have, you know what I mean? I can send them a secret link, you know, through the chapter 2 campaign, and then I can ship it out right away, you know, versus I got to wait for this one to close, you know? So, and I got, you know, 36 days on this before it's going to be over still. So, you know, so I don't have to make people wait, I'm going to keep chapter 2 open. And then once chapter 3 goes in demand, I'm probably going to close the chapter 2 campaign. So if everybody's wondering how we're doing that, that's how we're doing it. We got anybody who's in the chat. There's no noise in the chat. So yeah, this is one of those things, you know, it's a Monday night. I don't have a regular chat schedule. I mean, you know, so people tend to be doing other things when I go live. It's like I have to be live for like an hour, and then people realize I'm live and they all start showing up, you know what I mean? And then it's like, I'm like, well, I'm leaving now. And in fact, last week I went live right before having to go do Sparkle's show. I thought, you know, I'd be a half an hour, you know, no one's going to be there. I'll drop some updates. They'll catch it later. Right when it was time to leave, like Art T Bear showed up, you know, a whole bunch of people showed up just to hang out in the chat, and they're all like talking to me. And I'm like, wait, I gotta go.
It's one of those weird things about the YouTube algorithm, you know.
Yeah. Now YouTube is definitely a different animal now than when it was when I first started doing YouTube. I mean, literally, I have been doing YouTube since there's been a YouTube.
Wow.
Seriously, I'm one of those guys that, okay, so one of the founders of YouTube is a guy named Chad, and he actually sent me an email right when his website launched and said, come check out my video website. You know what I mean? And that's literally what it was. And I'm like, okay. And then so I like, you know, set up I opened an account, and, you know, and I don't think I ever uploaded a video on that one. But, you know, I basically, you know, been like uploading YouTube videos since, I mean, well, it's like 2005 is when YouTube became an actual thing. And I have been uploading videos probably since, you know, the like December of 2005. So, and I was like one of the first people in my area to monetize YouTube before there were ads on YouTube by selling videos that I could make go viral to my clients. So I would like, you know, say, okay, you know what? I will make a video for you, and we'll get, you know, 100,000 people to look at it. You know what I mean? And we'll brand your brand that way, and, you know, we'll put a link in the description, and we'll try and get some people to come to your thing. You know, and this is before YouTube had ads. I mean, entirely. YouTube did not have ads at the time. So it was, you know, it was the only way to monetize YouTube was to, you know, to leverage the viral platform. And it was a lot cooler then too, because it was easier to find a video to make it go viral. Like they actually, like if you had a new video, and nobody followed you, it would still go into the stream of the new videos, right? So there'd like be all these thumbnails that people could just say, oh, what's this video? What's this video? You know what I mean? And, you know, so like if you had a cool thumbnail, right, you didn't even have to have followers, your video could go viral. You know, nowadays you got to like play the game with the algorithm. You got to like figure out what people are searching for. You got to try and, you know, get your video into the mix. You got to have a good thumbnail. You got to have a good, you know, you can't really be lame and, you know, at all in the beginning. You got to be super entertaining because people are just waiting to click off to go to the next video. You know what I mean? So YouTube's a completely different game now, but it's still a good platform. It's still a necessity. However, I wouldn't recommend sticking just to YouTube. If you are someone who wants to live stream or someone who wants to promote your comic book, film, project, whatever, you are going to want to leverage as many platforms as you can. You're gonna want to like not blow off Facebook, because Facebook is really easy to live stream to. I wish Instagram was easy to live stream to. In fact, Instagram's like one of those ones you gotta like do a separate stream, even though it's the same company, Meta, as Facebook. They want you to, you know what I mean? They want you to engage more with their the Instagram live stream. So yeah, so I invited my friend Vaughn over to oh wait, I invited Steve Dye too. He just now texted me. He must have got distracted. Let's see here. Just restarting my computer, but I don't think I have the link. I'm pretty sure I sent him the link. Let me double check on that. You know what? Maybe I didn't. I'm seeing a lot of things there, and none of those are a Steve Dye account with a link. I meant to. Oh, you know what? I pasted it in there. I just didn't send it. That's one thing about, if you guys noticed that about Twitter, like you could paste something in the whatever and come back to it and it's there later.
Yeah, that's could be good and bad.
Yeah, it could be good and it could be bad. There's I don't even want to engage on the negatives of that, but there could be quite a few.
Yeah.
So let's see, where is that link? It is okay. So I saw this in the news today. Let's talk about. Let's see here. I'm going to unshare that screen, and then we're going to share a new one here. I was reading about this, and it just seems like this is just going on too much these days, right? It's just getting out of control. So we got Image Comics Chief Financial Officer Eric Larson wants Marvel to make the Punisher gay, hunt people who wear his logo. Now, first, let's just address the sensationalism of that title. Have you heard about this yet, Ace?
No, first time.
First time? Oh, so breaking news. All right, so I think it's funny that Image Comics is trying to tell Marvel what he wants. First of all, you know what I mean? It's like, that's just funny to me. So we got Image Comics CEO Eric Larson wants Marvel to make the Punisher gay and to hunt people who wear his logo. So does that mean that he's going to go with the new logo, that new changed one, and then you know what I mean? Or is it that logo that he's supposed to hunt people down, or is it the original logo? I mean, because there's a few Punisher logos now, so I'm wondering which logo that would be. What do you think?
I'm pretty sure he means the original. All these people have weirdo agendas, so they want to turn everything you love into a symbol of hate, in their words. So it's pretty typical SJW thinking.
Yeah, you know what? I am not a fan of the SJWs or their tactics, and I actually absolutely hate it when people use those tactics in retort, because then you've justified them doing it. You know what I mean? So I no matter what, I still am the school of integrity. So first, truth, justice, honor, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. Because man, it doesn't, it's like two wrongs don't make a right. You know what I mean? So like if like for instance, on Twitter, the cesspool that is Twitter, the raging dumpster fire that is Twitter. It is interesting to watch like all these little accounts with like 100, followers, attack and, get like inflated because they'll say something just completely horrible and, they don't like get big or anything. They're probably just some sock puppet account, right? Um, and it's like, it could be one person with like 50 of them. It could be a handful of people. You really don't know. Sometimes there are actual people that use the accounts, like they may be known and they maybe have more than, like maybe they have thousands of followers. But then they like do these like tactics to each other. You know what I mean? They play these messed up games. The SJWs will like, and sometimes, you know what? It's because if SJW stands for Social Justice Warrior, right? Then it comes down to like what your personal social justice the personal social justice that you seek, whether or not you are an SJW. You know what I mean? So like if I'm trying to be active about something I don't think is right, even if the thing I don't think is right is people being dicks about what they're doing to comic books, then all of a sudden I'm like, social justicing comic book integrity from the old school way. You know what I mean? So it's just like it seems like an endless cycle of death. You know what I mean? Because you're not. I mean, it's there's really the people that are actually making these comic books realize that they're pissing off all their reader base, and they don't care, right? They've made it clear they don't care. I mean, what have they said? They've said if you don't like it, don't buy our comic books, right? I mean,
Yeah.
literally. I
Hmm.
mean, they honestly do not care about the existing reader base in one iota. All right. Since that is a fact that they don't care, then why are we trying to shame them? They're going to be shameless about it. There is no benefit in trying to shame them, trying to, browbeat them, trying to make them feel sorry and sad and stupid and as if they're going to make a difference. You know what I mean? The only thing that's ever going to make the market change is money because that's business, right? So when the comics that they are in charge of actually can make enough money to where, you know what I mean, that dictates where things are going, then they won't have the say, right? But the problem is that, compared to the other things that they see as parallel businesses, whether it be television shows, um, actual like long tail books. I mean, there's a lot of things that out there, movies. You know what I mean? They see comic books as like a loss leader. You know what I mean? So that's why they hire these, and then of course, you know, they underpay artists dramatically. They underpay writers. They they want to play social politics in the books, which turns off creators like crazy. I mean, how many creators that you know of, Ace? Just guesstimate how many creators have jumped ship from Image, Marvel, DC, etc., because of like social agenda being put into comic books.
Yeah, it's been quite a bit, probably a couple of dozen or so.
Yeah, I can think of probably like there's been like more like 20 or close to 30. You know what I mean? That I can probably name. I mean, because a lot of them are, part of the community. And then and then on top of that, there's like another, huge mess of them. I mean, some of them didn't even like, try to go indie route. They just stopped making comics. They say, you know what, I'm gonna do something else. I'm gonna do storyboards for a living. You know what I mean? Make a bunch of money doing that, doing storyboards for Hollywood. I'm gonna go do, I'm gonna go sell my illustrations at comic cons and just tour comic cons and sell illustrations the whole time. I mean, there's a whole lot of that going on now, right? So I mean, the fact that we had that pandemic drove everybody to the internet. You know what I mean? But let's see if that holds up.
Yeah. Also, one of the things that I think has kind of come up that has been kind of a real game changer is a lot of, we all have these theories about SJWs and what would kind of, need to happen for things to really change and go back to the way they were. But it's been clear that there's something that nobody ever really took into account, is that these people don't function like normal people. Like it it's bigger than like, you know, like a any kind of movement. It's almost like a cult, because
Well,
it doesn't
actually, you're
matter
right.
how much money they lose. Like literally, like DC and Marvel have lost so many dollars in sales, and the sales right now are trash. Even like the big books aren't selling anymore. Yet they
Right.
continue to double, triple, quadruple down. So this thing is like, there's been many of us who just like, we just had to wash our hands and just like, hey man, this is what you want to do, go. We're gonna be over here doing our own thing, because we try to like, you know, tell you what we want. We try to speak with our wallets, but it seems it doesn't matter what happens, how many sales, if the company gets sold, if stacks and
Well,
stacks
yeah,
of books go unsold at comic book shops, the
yeah.
agenda still continues.
Right. Now, comic book stores are probably the most irritated. Everybody I talk to who owns a comic book store is actually really ticked about, that kind of stuff. In fact, there's a lot of rumor base that, some of the big ones, I want to say the big three, the big four, but I mean, there's really like five or six of the big dog publishers that have, kind of gone this route. You know what I mean? And they have been um, they have been trying to, like, they see this as the trend, right? What's going on? Because the truth of the matter is, sales were going down before this happened. You know what I mean? Sales were going down because nobody was reading comic books except guys our age. You know what I mean? I mean, there were other people reading them, but we were the bulk of the market. Um, and it's, I mean, because let's be real, you know what I mean? It's not like little kids are taking their bubblegum money and going to the comic book store and buying like two or three comic books they can roll up in their pocket and walk with. You know what I mean? Like I did when I was a kid. I mean, that's what I did. We would go. I would take, like, I could literally buy, like for $1, I could walk out with three comic books easy. You know, and so it was like, nowadays, I mean, let's see, when I was a kid, the value of $1 is probably about the same, value now, like about $5. But very few kids have $5. You know what I mean? It's almost like, kids had $1 then, they had $1 now. You know what I mean? It's like we didn't like change that. You know what I mean? Kids didn't experience the inflation adjustment. you know? Um, uh, so it's like, it's not like comic books are the same as they were when we were kids. You know what I mean? They don't even look the same. They're not printed on the same medium. Like, they're not all on. I mean, before it was 65 dots per inch on newsprint. You know what I mean? With a really light, like, 55 weight cover. I mean, you think I'm kidding? I mean, here's Flash Gordon. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is what comic books used to be. Myself in the stream. There we go. This is what comic books used to be. When you got a comic book, this is what you got. This thing is beat up because it is newsprint, right? With a bunch of ads that you could cut out and send wait for stuff, an ad on the back, and this is what a comic book was. And this one cost 40 cents, right? Um, and the year on this one is, what is the year on this one? You can tell it's real old if it's hard to find the year, right? 1980 looks like. So this is like a 1980 comic. So from 1980, right, which is when I was a kid buying comics like this, just so you know. Yeah, I'm that old. 40 cents, right? Is what we would pay for a comic book. Now, that is not the same relative to today's market, nor are, you know, like now you go to a comic book store, there's like clothes and toys, and comic books are expensive, and you don't know what you're going to get when you know what I mean, without really kind of almost reading it ahead of time. And then comic book stories, you know, the arcs have changed. You know what I mean? Like, you know, back then you had these were not like this. You know, was not like what we get in comics today. You know what I mean? If you look at these panels, I mean, they're pretty much just square panels, old school, like they used to be a comic strip in the newspaper, because that's what they were, um, before they made it into books. People understand, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't realize that comics started out in comic strips, and then like Detective Comics, Action Comics, you know, Superman, Batman, all that stuff used to be in newspapers first. And it didn't start out in books like this. It started out in the newspaper, and then they would take the newspaper story arcs and put them in books like this, you know. And then they would actually, since that would sell good enough, and you know, they couldn't keep the newspaper story arc going in short little things, they would have one story arc in the newspaper, which eventually could make it to a book like that, maybe. But then they started specializing in books and turning it in its own art form when that started selling. But they started out, you know, a lot more generic. Of course, that was before I was born, actually, when that happened, all that. So by the time I was born, when this one was made, that actually wasn't a comic strip first. It was actually, but they still kind of followed that same comic strip format, because these people who are creating that comic book used to create it on, you know, they also do create them for, you know, the newspapers at the same time. So, but that is just a little bit of comic book education that nobody cares about. Today, comic books are printed on high quality, 300 DPI, nice gloss paper. You know what I mean? And usually the artwork is a lot higher end, and they're pretty amazing. I say usually, because they're kind of some of the stuff they're putting out now is junk. And you know, there's a lot of reasons why. I mean, you know, there is some conjecture, and then there is some like things that people have talked about in interviews. One of the things is that some people have openly admitted that DC sees its comic series as a loss leader now, right? And DC is now owned by AT&T Big Picture, you know, because DC Warner Brothers is, you know, been sold to AT&T. And yeah, they see it as a total loss leader. And it's not like they're trying to just throw it out there to, whatever. They kind of see it as like the experimental platform. Now, if you're wondering, like, why does that make any kind of relevance at all? Well, it's because if it's an experimental platform and they find something that sticks, right, then they can leverage that into a TV series or movie or whatever. Hey, Sim, I sent you a link, man, if you want to hop in. I don't know if you saw it. So, oh, wait, it says not tonight, buddy. I got a headache. No, he's got lots to do. And Steve Dye got a link also, but he has not jumped in yet. So he's rebooting his computer. What's up, Lofar D? What's up? What is up? Did you see that the bot up there?
Yeah.
That cracks me up. And that guy's been stalking my channel. Every time I go live, I'm getting that thing in there now. Yeah. So Lothar D is here. What's up, Lothar? So comics are nothing like they used to be. They used to be, and also we were really, really short on forms of entertainment in those days. You know what I mean? We had it because just to say 1980, right? MTV wasn't even invented yet. MTV didn't come out till 1981. You know, so if you were alive in the late 70s and 80s, you know, your entertainment was reduced greatly to what there was available. And that was like when there were cartoons on, which was Saturday morning and after school, and early morning before school. And then there were your toys and whatever books you had, you know. And so, yeah, comic books were essential entertainment for children back then. Now, children prefer video games and cartoons and anime and YouTube and all kinds of stuff. Anything that they don't have to read, which just trips me out because anime, I'm wondering if they're just like not really following what's going on or they're actually reading the subtitles. Because I know that that most kids I know don't speak Japanese, so you know, but they're enjoying the anime. So, what do you think about all that, brother?
I mean, I could rant all day about anime, but when it comes to like the quality, you know, I think the biggest thing is the care. People really wanted to tell stories for the public, for kids, for like, you know, there seemed to be like a different kind of thinking of each creator back then. You know, I like watching little like documentaries and stuff and hearing origins of like, oh, you know, Batman was created like this, and you know, this is the stories we wanted to tell. Right now, it seems there's a different complete agenda. Like they don't really care about telling stories that are gonna stand the test of time, or telling stories that are gonna inspire young kids to wanna, you know, do something with their life and be heroic in their own way, even if it's, you know, without powers or anything. They
Yeah.
seem to be about agenda,
Well,
not
sometimes you
about
know,
the care.
sometimes they do seem about care, but the kind of care that they seem about doesn't seem like they're targeting the existing audience. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, you know, like maybe they're like, oh, you know, it's okay to be fat and ugly. You know what I mean? Maybe that's their like, you know what I mean? They're trying to make you feel okay
yeah.
about it.
The GI Joe with the plus size sergeant there leading
Right.
the troops, giving
You know what I
orders
mean?
to Snake Eyes.
Right. Or you know, or whatever. There's you know, I mean, there's I without being negative and bashing. You see, this is like one of the things about me that I'm trying to eliminate from myself is all aspects of being a hater. You know what I mean? Like I can appreciate what's going on with all this SJW and the negativity and identify the business side of it and you know what I mean, and discuss all that pretty thoroughly and get disgusted by some things, you know what I mean? But I really don't want to, I don't want to be a hater. I don't want to spread hate. I want to spread the love. You know what I mean? And speaking of love, back Captain Love right now. There's a link in the description. Go do that. Do that. Sam, post a link for me. You're in the chat. Do that for me, please. Um,
Try some get to work.
um, I love Sim, man. Sim's one of my best
Since the
friends.
best. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's a great dude. Um, that's why I give him such shit. You know what I mean? It's like I blow him thick smoke because he's my buddy. Yeah, that's a multi-level joke there. If anybody gets it, there then they know the big picture. All right, so yeah, thank you, Sim, for I appreciate you putting that in there for me, man. Sim, put your link in there too, buddy. And did we drop Ace's link in there? Oh, I mean, I closed your panel. Can you drop Ace's link in there too? I think I brought it up, but did I post the link? Oh, I did post the link. Yeah, I did. Okay, there it is. I see it. Ace Volume 2. So he got his link in there. All right, cool. All right, we got Supreme Heretic. Hey, bros, congrats. You're almost 1K subs. You know what, dude? I have been up and down from 1K subs so many times. It's unreal, dude. Like I have been up to like 115 and then back down under a K and then back up and then back down. I mean, for like over what, like well over a year now, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
definitely.
and we got Steve Dye trying to roll in here. He's having device not connected issues, but and then go sign up for Tales of the Natverse. Link is in the description. Sim puts together a good comic. He's got a really distinct, unique um, style, and you definitely want to go check out his stuff. Yeah. And there's probably is there going to be a way to get Blood Hunt on another issue? Or are you all out of those copies, Sam? Interesting. Steve Dye is trying to get in, but it says devices not connected, so I can't add him to the stream. He's probably sitting there boomering it right now, watching us and like. You gotta love Steve Dye though, man. He is a great dude. He's one of the. It's funny because I've been making comics in this community for over 2 years now. What the hell is the date? It's February 22, right? So like I've been hanging out with this crew for almost 3 years now. So that's you know what I mean? It seems like it'd be longer. It feels like it's longer sometimes,
Yeah, it
right?
definitely feels longer. That's for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, literally the community's only existed for like 4 years, not even 3.5 years tops, something like that, somewhere there. I mean,
Yeah, I think we're close to like 5, but it depends where you kind of catalog it from. So
yeah, I guess is when you have to start the discussion. What point would you say this is where it began? But
yeah.
The Supreme Heretic says the Captain Love series has been amazing. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I want everybody to fall in love with love. Captain Love has a big future, and we are in the infant stages of it still. I will see Captain Love become movies. If not movies, then definitely cartoon series, possibly both. Video game is definitely going to happen. It's just about how at this point. Yeah. Sim says here, I've been here for 4 to 5 years. I'm OG. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Sim, you are the gray beard. Yeah. It's wait, here comes something. There's nothing going on there. It says the real Steve Dye, and we have a black screen. So, there he is. Oh,
There it is.
for a
All
second.
right. What's going on, Mr. Mysterious?
What is up, man? What's going on, brother?
Issues, brother, issues. Nobody wants to hear about them. What's up, Ace? How you doing?
What's going on, Steve?
Yeah, man.
So, what's up with Rocket? Did you get that thing printed yet?
Man, I hope so. Yeah. Yeah, screw it. If anybody's watching, everybody can guess who my printing company was, and they took a long time to get me approved, and they wouldn't honor the proof copies, so I yanked it from them. And 3D Zach's going to print it, and I've got faith and confidence that eventually things will be all right. But it's been a hell of a time for trying to get a book printed, as you know. It's a bit of inside baseball, but if you're some of us know it's been a hell of a time to get a book printed, and when it's a book that was finished before it was even launched. Just
Yeah,
money. So
I understand that, man.
man.
That's why I gave myself a few extra months after
Yeah, I
my
should have done
campaign
that.
ends.
But I should have done that. To be sure, I should have just told everybody. But I don't know, man. I mean, Drew, I've been doing magazines and stuff for 20 years. And I've done a fair number of comic books, been involved in the pre-press and the production, the editing and so forth. And dude, I don't know that I could have foreseen what was going to happen in November, December is all I'm saying. But it sucks. It stinks on ice. Let's talk about something else. I'm not very happy about the whole situation.
Yeah,
my floor tile is in a boat off the shores of California. At least that's what my uncle told me yesterday when we talked on the phone. So, we all got our problems, but yeah, it's been mine. Just, I don't think they can justify paper going up 25% and simultaneously not honor a quote because it's more than 30 days old when it takes 6 weeks to get a stinking proof. So
That's
I
interesting.
don't know. I guess I'm done after that. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to order a 120-page book with 25 different artists in it and not have a physical copy in your hands? No, you're not. So anyway, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, in some cases, me personally, as a graphic designer, I don't need a physical copy because if I have a good PDF with the lines, I know how that's going to print. You know what I mean? Because I know what I'm going to get from that printer as far as quality. You know what I mean? If they screw up,
But I
they'll make good
don't.
on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah. No, I agree with you in theory to an extent.
Well,
But I'm old
if
school.
it's a new printer, right? If it's a new printer, I'm
Yeah.
going to make them send me a package before I even send them any work. They're going to send me a proof package. They're going to send me a little thing of this is what our print quality is. This is what you can expect from us. You know what I mean? And so, so I always know where I'm going to go when it's a new printer. Although I have been doing the printing game for a long time. I pretty much, when I find a printer I like, I don't change up unless their price is right.
I wasn't planning on it, brother. I wasn't planning on it. They'd always done right by me before. And, the thing that I was uncertain on is, it's an additional, it's a lot of inside baseball. People don't give a shit. Back in doing, 4-color magazines and, motorcycle magazines, jet ski magazines, all that sort of thing. Each photographer needs a little bit different color correction if you really want a true representation. And if you just print their photo of a Yamaha dirt bike, the fucking thing's going to look purple because there's going to be too much magenta in it. And again, as is obvious and as you know, pretty old school. So, I've got, I don't know, 28 different guys work in it. And it's up to me to reproduce all that as best I can for each of those guys. And yeah, I didn't think I'd be having these problems.
Yeah.
When I did the campaign, the deal was, and it had always been, that you get your proof in about 7 to 10 days, and then you'd be like, yep, looks good. Let's print this bastard. And then you'd have your book in 3 weeks. And that's not what's been going on with. It's a whole can of worms, dude. I'm obviously talking about the company everybody uses. I'm still not wanting to throw them under the bus, but the other company had a really, really great guy that you could get on the phone. And if you were having a problem, he would figure it out. And that guy unfortunately passed away last year unexpectedly. And I didn't call into this radio show to talk about my problems. What the fuck are we doing here?
I don't know, man. I asked how your book was going. You went on to this. So
no, you asked. You encouraged me.
Yeah. So
that's what's going on with Rocket. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
I hope you get it out soon.
So we don't have an ETA on that though, huh? Not yet.
I'm supposed to have. I have this one. By the way, keep meaning to do this, but I don't ever do it. But I do have this one from the company that I'm not quite going to name because of all the good work they did before. But this book's been around. Let me find the place on the camera. This book's been around for a while.
Oh, I saw some Captain Love.
There's some Captain Love in here.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff in here. There's a lot of stuff in here. It's a fun little book, and I have this one, and it's from a company that jacked up my print quote on by about 25%, and didn't want to honor the previous quote. And shit, man, fuck, I ain't making any money at this thing in the first place. You charge me $1,000 more than you told me you were going to charge me.
You know how I avoid that with that particular company. When I get the quote and I'm happy with it, right?
Yeah.
I pay for it then. And then quote, and then I don't have to upload files until I'm ready.
Yeah. Well, live and learn. I've ran a dozen 20 books through them, and the first time this ever happened was with fucking mine. So fuck.
Well, you also tried to print yours, and you probably from quote to print poem, what was the epitome of the worst time ever, right during the
Yeah, let's
shortage.
dwell on that. If we're going to
Yeah,
talk about the subject, let's talk about. It's not that I'm an idiot. It's just that
yeah,
who the fuck knew?
it
Who the
was shit. It
fuck
was
knew?
shit timing. I mean, you got you right in the middle of the supply
Yeah.
shortage. I mean, actually, at the beginning of it, yours would have been right at the like worst part of the supply shortage.
Dude, I knew the price of lumber was going up at the time I launched it.
Yeah.
And I knew that was happening because I got guys that pound nails, as buddies. And I should have anticipated that, oh yeah, wood, paper, all that shit. But I didn't, maybe I am a dumbass. I don't know.
The price of everything has gone up. In fact,
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to raise my rates to my clients and not lose my clients. You know what I
Well,
mean?
it really wasn't so much as them jacking up the price or a money situation, so much as just losing all confidence in what they were telling me,
Yeah.
and
Well,
always dealing with a different person every time who didn't know what the last person had told me, and some of that
yeah.
conflict, and I could go on and on about how they got different machines that are at different times, different places, and whether you're going to get what you said
Well,
they did. But
it's
they always
got
done a good job before.
it. No, they do have some issues right now, from what I heard.
Yeah, they've always done a good job before. I'm not, that's
But they're from what I understand, they're still doing a good job for the most part. It's just they took an issue because they didn't close when everybody else did, and they had to deal with a lot of crap that happened because there were I mean, okay, so this company that we're talking about, for the most part, is a broker.
should we even be doing this?
We're not mentioning their name. They're a broker, so they actually have a network of they have a system to collect and to process the file,
Sure.
and then they have a brokerage. They broker out to companies to print it,
Sure.
and those companies are not all exactly the same, but when the file is delivered to them, they all have the same machine. They all have the same stuff. So what you're going to get is going to be about 98% the same from company to company. Now,
It's usually fine.
yeah,
Again, it's
it's
usually
usually,
fine.
but because of
Usually
what was
fine.
going on with all the people leaving their jobs because they could, they didn't have to work, and everything else that was going on, it just disrupted that whole process chain.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
You know
too
what I
old
mean?
to understand how all this people don't want to work shit works. Me, I want to
Yeah.
work. I want to put out this book, and it's you know, it's I don't think we should be talking about this much.
All right, we can move
I
on.
don't like it how you always get a different person and you get a different answer,
Yeah.
and that's well enough and good if everything goes well. But when they give you some nonsense about when you're going to get your proof, and then you say, okay, if I am going to pay that new price, when am I going to get it? And they give you the same effing runaround on that. Let's
Well,
please move on.
yeah, we can move on.
Oh yeah,
with that
if
company.
anybody out there is trying to print a book,
Yeah,
they've always done a good job before.
they're
But,
a good company. They're
yeah,
a good company. They
yeah,
do a great job. It's just that, like everybody else,
shit happens.
yeah,
And
exactly.
it always happens to me. Why did, like Cecil says, why do things that happen to stupid people always happen to me?
Well, I know why. I know why Cecil says that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I got a lot of experience in every facet of doing this, and what I can't actually do, however, is perfect bind a book. I can't print it, and I can't glue it together properly. I know how they do it, but I don't have the stuff to do it, so I can't do it. And it really is somebody else's gig. My gig was to put anyway. Yeah. They mostly do a good job, and I hope that they go back to being the reliable company that they were. But there's been some minor issues with some previous books, and then this one obviously is pretty fucking major to me.
Well, I mean, you should understand this being in the industry long
I
enough.
do. I
That
understand it. I just don't
that
know why shit that happens to stupid people always happens to me.
here's the thing, like if I'm printing, 700 jobs a year, right, for
Yeah.
clients or whatever, I can count on, a good 50 of those jobs to go wrong. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I can count on it. I mean, it's going to happen. I allow for it in my pricing structure. So it's like if something goes wrong, and like, okay, and I try to allow for it in the timing of like, okay, and I have like these little clauses when I write contracts saying if there's an issue with the printer, we will deal with it. You know what I mean? You got to be patient. If the problem is our fault, we'll pay for it. If the problem is your fault, you'll pay for it. If the problem's the printer's fault, we will make sure the printer handles it. You know what I mean? And it's just a time thing at that point, so.
Well, on a positive note, because I got to get the fuck off the subject, honestly. Before I really say what I want to say, but the Zach seems very solid, so I think that's what's going on, and I hope that he can become the guy. There is something. I don't have the results in my hot little hands, so
Has he given
you
you
know,
so he hasn't given you a proof yet then, right?
it's en route, because I don't want to get into the timeline of things, but I didn't want to go somewhere else. I wanted to use the company I'd used before, but I really kind of got some business from them, so they're not getting mine, and
Well,
but yeah. I
I wish I
miss
could get.
there's another company that, again, I don't want to get into, but there's another company that is commonly used, and again, they had a guy. Here's what I want to do. I want to, in advance, with all faith, and actually, Zach also told me that he's getting pretty backed up, and he doesn't really need me to sell it. He's because a lot of people are going to Zach. I think he's going to do good work. He's obviously a comic skate guy, and he's made a considerable investment in having the right equipment to do good work. And I think he's got a vested interest in doing what he can. I mean, all I can do is make a fucking magazine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't draw shit, and I ain't trying to write some space pirate thing. I'm not. I mean, yeah. If you haven't met Captain Love, by the way, the point of this show, it's Jack Reacher in space. I mean, what the fuck else do you want? But yeah,
Yeah, you
he's
need to
trying.
start using that quote, Jack Reacher in space. What the fuck do you want?
That's
Yeah.
what I was waiting for my shit to start working. I was like thinking, what's the one thing I could say that would anybody want to hear? Jack Reacher in space. That's your pitch.
Yeah. That I
Yeah.
like that. I'll say I'll even like get that a quote like
Well, you got the zeitgeist
it's
going
Jack
on.
Reacher in space. What the
Yeah.
fuck do you want? Steve Dye.
Yeah, do that. You can put it on the cover if you want. Yeah, and if anybody actually needs any pre-press work, by the way, I'm out here and use the money. Now back to Zach. He's got an investment in it in a couple of ways that I think a lot of us, I think all of us here talking at least can appreciate the investment he's made and kind of believing in. There's got to be a better way to do this, right down to the printing phase, and that's what he can do. And
I would like to.
I'm happy to support that, and
I would love to find a guy that's local to my area. I mean,
well, I can call him on the phone.
I
The other
keep.
company had a guy I could call on the phone, and he would always answer, and he unfortunately passed away suddenly,
Mhm.
and there, I ain't trying to get into
Right.
the specifics of that, but I'm just talking about when I reached out to Zach and said, dude, honestly, I've been running all my stuff through, but I'm at the end of my rope, and what's going on? And he's like, well, yeah, I could do this, I could do that, and this and that, and it was all, but I'm like, dude, this is a conversation, and
Well,
He just immediately, well, he does, I mean, I go back and forth on the DMs and blah, 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 and that's all fine. But, you got my phone number, Drew. That's how you got a hold of me about this, I mean, I'm kind of, anyway, as soon as I told him, yeah, could we just have a conversation, which a lot of times involves setting up a stream farms, yards thing with some, whatever you got to do. I got to stay on Skype just so I can talk to 3D Robin, because that's all who, fucker won't do anything else. And I need him. Yeah. Shout out to the design working rocket, 3D Robin. Same guy that did your Salamandroid toys. Made that logo and a whole lot of other stuff in the magazine. I had pitched my book just a little bit, but I'm back to pitching Zach. I don't know. I really hope it'll work, and I hope it works on the level of just having a guy. I mean, I used to just fly into Quebecor on the company card, and that was great. But those days are over. But just having a guy that picks up the phone and you're like, hey, here's what my concern is. Are the fucking Yamahas going to look purple? And then he'd be like, yeah, they're going to look kind of purple. And I'd be like, well, just hold the phone while I send you some files where there's a little less magenta in the fucking photo. The fucking Yamaha that always looks purple in the sun, even though it looks blue in the sun when you're actually there.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean about that. Yeah. I personally have the habit of going over questionable imagery and getting the actual number registration of the CMYK before I send it to print, just because I'm so.
Yeah, well, I've got baselines for a lot of stuff, bro. Mm-hmm. I could do up that Yamaha dirt bike from memory. I could also do their jet ski, which is you got to tweak a little yellow, but yeah, man. I mean, again, yeah.
Yeah, from printer to printer, you know what I mean. Especially if they are,
it's just nerve-wracking, If somebody just stood there and watched, if they're plate printing, just stand there and watch them run some stuff off the press and be like, yeah, it'll be all right. Or I'd be like, no, wait a minute, let me get my laptop. Okay, I'm replacing this file with this. And,
well, I mean, it's there's having a proof copy is a lot cheaper than doing all match prints, by the way. So that's how I used to do it back in the day. Everything would come match print. You know what I mean? That would just be insane, because we're talking
it's
about
all insane. It's all insane right now. Trying to make books is the height of insanity. By the way, hello, Comicsgate. Trying to make books is the height of insanity. Just so you know. It's kind of fun, and it's also the height of insanity, and your mileage may vary.
Yeah, well, if you want to tell a story, and it's still one of the lesser expensive ways to tell a story with images.
I think it's really cool. That's I mean, comics are cool. Comics are definitely cool.
I mean, it's I would take a stab at writing novels and stuff, except that the market for that is
it's all an uphill push.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's not exactly I mean, Captain Love was a bit of a screenplay treatment, in its beginnings, and that would have been cool. It'd be a great movie. It'd be a great movie. You can make a comic book out of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that started out as a movie concept, which is
right.
So I mean, I have a script for it and everything, and it still will be a movie someday. It's just
hell yeah, bro.
It just takes forever to lift that baby up, because I mean here's the biggest problem I have is I'm spread thin. You know what I mean? On Tuesday nights, my whole Tuesday, is like is crazy, because I have to work the day, and then I gotta, and then I work the night in the TV studio, and then Wednesday, I work my regular job, and I gotta edit video to get it ready for Thursday's broadcast. And I have a class I take on Thursday nights, you know what I mean? And then so it's just, I mean, my and then I try to find time to stream in the mix, or somebody has an emergency, like my ex is she needed help with homework, and I'm like, I can't just tell her no. Well, no, I know that sounds crazy, but
it doesn't qualify as an emergency.
Well, no, here's the thing. It's not an emergency, but she has 2 children, which I care about very much.
I understand that. I understand the old flame, you want to help her out. But
if she gets
just
an education,
just for the sake of being argumentative and arguably entertaining. I'm going to say that's right under the heading of that sounds like a her problem.
Well, no, it is a her problem, but if I let it be a her problem, then it ends up being it trickles
Yeah.
down onto the kid's problem.
Yeah, yeah.
And I would
Right on
rather
that.
I would rather sacrifice a little bit of my time, help her pass her class, and make sure those
Yeah.
kids get a
That's a
mother
good
with
man.
a paycheck. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
that's a good man. That's a good man.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So Captain Love.
Captain
Back,
Love.
Captain
Let's
Love.
talk about Captain Love.
So
I
yeah.
mean, where's he going? What's going to happen next?
Okay, so in chapter 3, Captain Love goes and visits Madame Mary at her brothel, and he finds out this favor she needs from him, and then we get to see a little flashback of when he and Madame Mary met, which is a cool little short adventure, and then we also get a look at Lord Krol, who is the dark figure from chapter 1, who is, we haven't like clearly spelled it out, but everybody pretty much already figured out he's the pirate king at the time. But the pirates have organized, and they basically, they're an organization. They're not just like these fly by night wild pirates, you know what I mean, anymore. They've kind of changed the nature of it. And this guy who has pretty much pulled them all together in fear, because they all fear him.
Kind of a hierarchy of pirates.
Yeah, kind of a hierarchy of pirates where and a lot of the pirates. Okay, so think of it this way, right? Like if you had a bunch of millionaires, right, that like all like were in the oil industry, and then all of a sudden gasoline was no longer useful, right? But you had all these millionaires still, right? They would need some other industry to get in. You know what I mean? And so it would be easy for somebody to pull them all together into one big new conglomerate, So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It gets scary when somebody starts talking about we want to get rid of gas. I'm a big internal combustion fan, as you
well,
know.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. At some point, just so you know, gasoline is going to turn over to a much more combustible material, which will be hydrogen.
Well, they don't have there's not a transportation solution for that.
Yes, there is. There is. It's just too expensive to produce right now. It's not reliable.
Then what good is it?
Well, it's just technology has to advance a little bit so that
Just give me a cheap Volvo V8 truck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not everybody it doesn't. Okay. So people who are wondering what the hell we're talking about here is hydrogen fuel is obviously hydrogen molecules come from a water base, right?
Yeah.
And so when they rust the hell out of a normal engine. So like if you were just going to convert your car right now to run on hydrogen, which you could convert your car to run on hydrogen, but you're going to destroy your engine nice and slow because it's going to rust from the inside.
If you had a distribution network and enough volume to actually make that even work, you would rust it to death. Yes.
Yeah, but they do have engines with with porcelain treatment to them, and then they're also creating engines out of a new carbon-based material versus steel. Now the problem with that is it costs about 100 times more than a normal engine. So it's just not viable yet. And at some point when they figure out a way to make that viable, you know what I mean, then we will transfer to gasoline will no longer be relevant. It will, everything will want to run on hydrogen until like because basically only like classic cars and they'll be like hobbyist cars that have to run on gasoline, and gasoline will probably end up being real cheap then. I mean, it ended up being really cheap. Like we'll probably go back to like 28 cents a gallon.
So let's say that this is actually possible. Which say it is. Which direction do we want to go with that discussion? Why it's not, and why it's not going to be anything like economically feasible to do.
Well, I mean, it's all debatable at this point, right?
Well, yeah, I just thought, if you want to debate this, we could do that. I mean, we got nothing else to do. Whatever.
Sim has got
Speak
the
for
right
yourself,
idea.
guys. I actually got to go get out of here. I got to go make some food because I'm streaming in like 50 minutes on the hard line. So
All right. Tell Phil I said, hey, nephew.
definitely. Drew,
All
man,
right,
thanks
man.
for
All
having me on, man. It's always
right.
fun
Good
to
talking
catch
to
up with
you,
you
Ace.
guys. Take it
See you,
easy,
Ace.
Steve. Bye.
Ace doesn't want to talk about propulsion, various means from which to achieve.
I could go down that rabbit hole pretty deep, man. I could talk about microwaves as a source of propulsion in space, which is
Yeah,
really
I'm not.
interesting.
Yeah. You're going to leave me in the dust there. But when it comes back down to Earth, yeah, there's no distribution network. It cost $1 zillion just to set that up. Yeah, all these nut jobs are investing all of. They are making a substantial investment in roadside plug-ins and whatnot, but they're in goofball places lots of times, and also, um, oh, what's the other thing? You still got to make electricity. You
Yeah,
know,
that's funny because like you made me think of this guy that they were going on and on and on and on about how they were going to get a an actual uh, drone design. The quadcopter drone design, how they could convert that into a human transport vehicle. And they're like, oh, there's not going to be enough battery power, but we can't generate enough energy with batteries. You know what I mean? And they're like, okay, well, technology will advance and we'll eventually do it, right? I'm like,
God,
you know what? Then some dude came in like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to be brilliant. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a generator that I get right from my freaking hardware store, fill it with gasoline, and I'm going to power that drone that's carrying people that can handle the weight. You know what I mean? And it made perfect sense because he's actually instead of he actually powers the batteries. Keeps the batteries charged with the generator, and then the batteries run the drone, the human carrier drone. I mean, it's still it's they still haven't got that thing to like a market here in the United States. I believe the first ones are going to come out in Japan, but it's still like how cool is that? I mean, once we get to that point where everything is georotational and programmable, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, where do I want to
oh yeah,
go?
that's a whole other. Yeah, yeah.
It's like everything it just drives itself. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, let's sit back and
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm not counter to counter rotational. That's yeah. Let's engineer the fuck out of that. But I still just don't see any good. Batteries, man. Batteries. There's a reason why you can't just throw your car battery in your trash can when you're done with it. And and I don't know.
yeah,
I
there's
don't know how one of those
lithium batteries. Those you cannot throw those away. Yeah, that would be bad.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just trading one problem for another, and I don't
I
know.
don't
I'm
think
an old man
battery.
shaking my fist at the cloud, but how about we just keep doing the shit that actually worked on an economic scale that was feasible instead of trying to like actually think that we're going to have a real effect on this world? I mean, this is getting into some pretty dicey ground, but I don't throw my trash out in the street, and I don't just go around setting shit on fire. I don't do a bunch of stupid shit. But I also think that ultimately this earth will, with due respect to George Carlin, who I stole this joke from, I'm pretty sure, um, the earth's going to just shake us off like a bad case of the fleas at some point. It's going to be fine.
Sim
Come
will
on in here,
confirm.
Sim, and let's see what you know about it. You and me will talk physics. Drew will get into the quantum spacecraft
I'll
stuff, and
referee. I'll referee your guys'
I'll
fit.
bring it back down to base level of what probably works and what probably don't.
Uh, I was having fun using a physics discussion with people, and how there's a lot more to physics we don't understand than there is that we do. You know what I mean? And a lot of people they'll a lot of people will basically um, get enough information to make them dangerous, and then they don't realize that that
That's all
information
of us.
is very limited in scope. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
well, in all fairness, that's all of us. We've all got what we've picked up along the way. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably why I'm more of a skeptic. Some people are more cockeyed optimists, but yeah,
I tend to be a hungry researcher. Like when I want to know something, I will like probably not rest fully until I figure it out. Which is which is not the best character trait. Let me tell you, it has allowed me to waste a lot of time unnecessarily for.
that used to be part of my gig, was to do stuff like that, and not the best of times, but some of the middlest and worst of times, it was part of my gig to have to research some shit and write about it and actually know what the fuck I was talking about when I actually didn't even care. So
Yeah,
it's yeah. So
I
I don't
find
know.
my
I do some of that, but at some point, I'm also like, I'm not as curious as I thought I'd be. I'll get about 3 or 4 things into looking into something, and I'll be like, you know what? Pretty sure I don't actually give a shit.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have to stop myself sometimes too,
yeah,
because I can go deep down those rabbit holes. Like there has
yeah.
been many a time I'll read something that NASA came up with and I'll be like, oh cool, this is cool. And then I want to understand how it works. So I will sit there, I'll go as far as like research the science and try to figure out, like how they did it. And I mean, and it's just over the it's I mean it's just way too much down that rabbit hole. Like you can't see light anymore, you're so deep in that fucking rabbit hole.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, again, we're a little more grounded around these parts, but me and my dudes around here, excuse me, I should have muted. Um, yeah, me and my guys around here, we endless discussions about frame geometry, offset, you know, squat, you know, just all this motorhead stuff. But it's not as if we're just idly discussing it. Some of us are actually like machining new triangle links
Yeah,
for a different leverage ratio on the rear shock, and but it gets into that same kind of where all of a sudden you spent 4 or 5 hours just talking amongst yourselves about, well, what if we just went to a taller primary gear? Taller
yeah.
primary gear would be good, and then somebody's like, nah, man, it won't work because of this. A little more grounded, but it's kind of the same thing. We get deep into.
I think it's cool that that the I've been predicting it for years, but people thought I was crazy. Dirigibles have actually become an actual method of transport, an effective one, because they just go up and they can
Well,
be
I think they
moved in
always
any.
were.
Yeah. No, they were, but a lot of people didn't. A lot of people did not use. I mean, they would use like hot air balloons for fun travel, and they would
Hmm.
use, like the Goodyear blimp. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But actually, like the actual dirigible design that they had back from like World War II was abandoned, and then they've redone it where like most of
yeah.
the interior is actually used as space for
It's pretty much a very
storage.
aeronautically sound design as long as nobody's shooting at it.
Yeah, and depending on if you get a strong enough material that can handle heavy compression, you could
Yeah,
actually take a dirigible in space, like all the way to space.
I'm not doing that, bro. You're on your own there. I'm not doing that.
I would do it. I would so
No,
do it.
I'm going to want to know what the
The
thickness of the. I want to
the
wonder
the
what the thicknesses of the titanium on the shell is, and then how thick is the ceramic over the top of the shell. I'm going to be coming at it just straight up like a guy getting ready to race a motocross bike.
yeah, well that
I'm going to be like,
homeboy
tell me again what the fork setting is.
that one homeboy who did it with the Red Bull sponsor, he took a dirigible to the edges of space and basically before the hot air balloon itself
Yeah, and jumped
expanded.
out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it jumped out, and
yeah, it was
yeah,
pretty hot.
that
Yeah,
was
it was pretty
awesome.
hot. Yeah,
Yeah, I would do
yeah.
that. I would do that in a
I'm
heartbeat.
probably not doing that. I
I
do
would
some crazy shit in my time, but
I would so
I
do
ain't,
that.
doing that. No,
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm out. I'd go for it if they'd set that thing at about where the air was maybe getting a little thin. I might go for it, but I'm not. No, Not if there was skies getting black and
Where you,
shit,
where you
hoping that
have to,
balloon's gonna pop.
you gotta be wearing a pressure suit to jump or you die.
Yeah, yeah, I'm out, dude. That was a hot. That dude's nuts. Props to
Yeah.
him. Yeah,
Yeah, that takes balls to jump out like something like that though at that height.
yeah. You're off your rocker. You're totally nuts.
Yeah. I mean
I
that's
mean, I don't know, I mean, like more a little back in the day, but still to an extent, it ain't like I don't hang around with a few Red Bull athletes and still go ride with them once in a while, but that's not, none of those guys are going up out here, none of them, you know. I know a few fast dudes and they do really stuff that most people probably wouldn't and definitely shouldn't do on a motorcycle. And that's a whole nother, that's way out there, man, I'm gonna ride my mountain bike off this cliff in Utah and just freestyle my way down. That's pretty far out there. But that balloon thing, that is way, way out there. That's, I mean, literally, but also just like,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, there's some crazy people doing some crazy things,
sure.
So yes, I really want everybody to back Captain Love. If you have
Yeah, I want
questions about
everybody to
Captain
back
Love,
Captain Love. Yeah,
yeah, let's change the topic slightly. Slightly. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it
everybody
at?
sneak over and back that kid's book too.
Yeah.
That's his chops. Chimera, that's him. And yeah,
Let's talk a
SOS
little.
coming now.
Let's talk a little
Let's
Heartless.
talk about Heartless. Yeah, let's do that.
Logo
This is
design.
really, really an interesting project. You
Logo
really kind of got
design
my
by
dander up talking to me about this in the early stages.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah,
This has been a long time working. I mean, we've literally been working on this for over a year now. You
yeah.
know what I mean? I mean, seriously,
And
like
it gets better and better all the time.
when I started talking to you about Heartless, like shoot, that was what that was like
It's been a minute. Yeah,
that was like summer of 2020. Was that
yeah,
what
it's
it
probably
was?
right.
You know
Yeah,
what I
it's
mean?
probably right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Thinking it over. Yeah, that is actually about right due to circumstances I ain't going into right now, but I can put it in time. Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a minute, and but I mean, there's
Yeah.
everything else that you are going to accomplish with it aside. Just seeing it come together as a book, seeing what the kid Doodle is
Yeah.
doing.
Pat Maxton, aka Doodle Bags, has
Yeah,
been drawing up a storm
doing
on
some
this thing.
amazing work, some
Yeah.
amazing
I
storytelling.
would say it's some of his best work. I've seen a lot of his work, and I would say that this is some of his best
Well,
work
you're
is
on
in
his
this book.
ass all the time. I would think so.
I am. I don't give him much slack.
Yeah, you're on his ass all the time. It's all right. You're getting what you want, and that works. And I think it looks amazing. As it comes together.
Yeah, we're over
Yeah,
two-thirds
I think it
done.
looks amazing. I think he's doing his best work,
Yeah,
and
we're over two-thirds
and I
done,
think you've
and
written a really, really cool story that works on several different levels. And yeah, man, I'm stoked for that.
yeah.
Captain Love. That's my kind of thing for sure. But this Heartless thing is something else. Again, yeah,
Yeah, everybody I've shared the idea with has thought it sounds like a pretty amazing book. I actually have been sharing it with, I've shown it to quite a few investors and stuff like that because, we are going to be giving away a whole mess of copies of this book. I mean, we're going to be giving them away for free, which means that we need to raise money to pay for those ones that we're getting away free. So I'm seeking donors, but also when we go crowdfunding, we're going to have the opportunity for you to, when you want your own copy of the book, you'll be able to donate a copy of the book also, which is a beautiful thing. It is a way to, actually we're going to run it through the nonprofit. So if you feel like you want to be real generous and donate 100 books or so, you know what I mean? That's actually something that we will give you the information to write that off on your taxes if you wish to do so. So, because Every book that you donate is technically tax deductible. So
Yeah, well, I think those are all things that are going to. Those are all important things, but it's a
yeah,
really good story. It's a
yeah. No,
really good story.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited
And
that I
Biddle's
mean,
doing a great job of putting it together. And
yeah. I was
you're putting it together.
when I was writing it, I was worried that it was going to be too much story. You know what I mean? But as it comes together, I think it's just the perfect balance, of story and adventure. You know what I mean? It's got depth and it's
Yeah,
got I don't
it
know.
really, really looks good, and I'm pleased with the results of the collaboration, to say the least.
Yeah.
You know,
Wait till you see what we do next, man. You got it because I mean you've okay, so like you've obviously I don't want to spoil the story for everybody, but you know what's happened up to the point.
yeah,
Yeah, so you've seen the first two chapters, you know what I mean? Because that's
yeah.
basically I have it everybody who knows me at this
Well,
point
yeah,
knows that I write in 24-page arcs. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I try to separate them as close as I can into 8-page stories in the arcs themselves. You know what I mean? That doesn't always happen,
sure. Yeah,
but
but yeah, you want to hit a certain page count to make stuff
yeah.
a little
Well,
easier to break
I
up
try
here and
to
there. Yeah,
yeah, I try to give people more to digest than just one little part of a story at a time. You know what I mean?
sure.
But the problem with this book is that when I was putting it together, the chapters were so significant. Like they all had to go together. They couldn't, like, I really couldn't separate these three chapters from each other and tell it individually because
Sure. Yeah,
it would just be way too incomplete on each thing. Like the first one, you know what I mean? It goes all the way up until like a major tragedy in his life, and then it stops right there. And then you pick up from that tragedy, and then you go and you figure out, you know, uh,
yeah,
what where his life is going to go. And then this third chapter is going to be all about the implementation of what he figured out in the second chapter. So
yeah.
it's, you know what I mean? It's where it's, I don't,
No, it's really, really, yeah, it's pretty well put together. I mean, we've been through the beats, Drew. We
yeah,
went through all the beats, and you've probably changed this or that here and there since we've last done it. But I know where it's going, and
yeah. No, it's
it's
still,
it's
it's,
it's really, really well constructed. It's got the setup, and it's got the active betrayal, and then it's got the payoff. And that's what you want out of a story, and
yeah, I'm
it's
excited
really
about
good.
it. I want to see it do really good for a multitude of reasons. But, but it is not even up on mailing list yet, just so you know. It's like I've been holding off.
Well,
Probably.
you're gonna launch it one of these days, huh?
Oh no, I'm going to I am going to launch a campaign for it probably around summer, in the summertime. You know what I mean?
Well,
Middle,
you got
like
yeah.
July, August is what, but it really depends on how
That's
far
probably
along
about
we are in the
that.
book. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's probably fine. It's
Yeah.
probably good.
So obviously, like, sometime in the next month, I'm probably going to launch a mailing list for it so we can start, collecting some emails or whatever. However, my game plan isn't going to rely strictly on that. Like I said, I'm trying to work multiple avenues. Um,
Yeah,
I
well,
yeah,
that's yeah.
but we know where it's going, so it's gonna be awesome. I'm excited for it. But in the meantime, we still have Captain
Yeah,
Love.
you got things on your plate right at the
Right.
moment.
Right
Yeah,
now, I need to raise money for Captain Love.
yeah,
I mean, technically, if Captain Love didn't make another cent, right, I would still be able to fulfill to everybody that needs to get a book. But I personally would be out thousands of dollars.
yeah. Don't you love it? Yeah, making comics because it's fun. Yeah, it's pretty effed up, dude. Because yeah, I don't know. I think you're still gonna sell
Yeah,
more.
well,
Yeah, the campaign's ongoing, and you got to do all that stuff, and
I didn't make my money back on chapter 2. I would have on chapter 2. I would have broken even on chapter 2, except for that big shipping fiasco it had, and I had to like
Yeah.
refill everything, which that was
Yeah. It's kicking the nuts.
yeah, that was during the whole shipping fiasco time frame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where right at the beginning of all that.
Yeah.
And like everybody's all like, oh my gosh. And then afterwards everybody's like, oh, okay. You know, it's like, you know. But yeah, I literally like had to come up with another $1,500 just to, you know, ship out a bunch of books. And then the value of those books, obviously, I had already luckily I had already had them printed because I overprint. So you know what I mean? So that was just a big
Yeah,
change.
that's good. Yeah, because otherwise it's a double whammy right now.
Oh, it
Or
would
at
have
least
been,
because, yeah,
yeah, that would have been a ball breaker, man, if I
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
already have them
yeah,
printed.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what's going on right about now. So yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, we do persevere, and yeah, and Captain Love's a really, really cool story. You know, and you know, it's literally going places, and there are adventures to be had, and it's Jack Reacher in space. What do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to quote that for real. Like, it's Jack Reacher in
the,
space. What do you want? Steve die.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. You can just have it if you want. So I don't think it's that great, but yeah, I mean it is. It's a really fun story. It's a really good story. Obviously, yeah, I'm well invested in having. You know, I've seen all your stuff and take a little look as you do it, and it's a lot more fun than an awful lot of stuff that I've
Did you
looked
see
at or
this?
worked on. Yeah, I saw it earlier when I was trying to. That's pretty crazy, dude. I don't even know what to think about that.
7 inches high.
That's badass, but yeah, I have questions, but I'm not going to ask them. If this is still a live show, I'm not asking those questions. But that is badass, dude. Yeah, I don't know what you can offer it for or how you could. You know, that's kind of how
Well,
the
actually,
conversation goes. But
on
yeah,
the campaign, I have it like this for 300, and then painted for 400. And nobody's taken me up on it. I don't know if it's just because there's not enough numbers yet, or the price is just too high, or whatever. I could,
yeah,
you know, what I mean, it's like I obviously I priced it to where I can, you know, deliver it at
yeah.
whatever order, but at the same time, I also priced it to where, you know, there's some value to putting it on the campaign that goes to the campaign. Like you know what I mean? So I've considered like lowering the price, but I'm like, I'm not going to lower the price if people still aren't going to buy it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna kind of abstain because I don't really understand that side of it. To be perfectly and way too publicly honest, if anybody's watching it, I don't. The figures and the statues and all that stuff. I get it that it's real, and I get it that people dig it, and I don't have any feel for it. You know
Yeah,
what I
it
mean?
comes down to collectible
Yeah, I'm not
fans.
being dismissive at
Yeah,
all
it's just
because I
if
think it's
people
really
are.
cool. I know a few guys that have got some of them cool. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't either.
So anyway, the thing
I
is
mean,
yeah,
I do collect. I mean, I hella
yeah,
collect,
yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of people do, and I think it's
but
pretty cool. I mean,
I don't
yeah,
go and I don't collect. I don't collect like statues from the
yeah,
store like that so much as like I'll collect like I have a Millennium Falcon from like the early 1980s. You know what I mean? Like the big old
uh,
huge Millennium Falcon,
yeah,
and then I got a bunch of little die cast Millennium Falcons, and I got
yeah,
like you
yeah.
know what I mean. I
Well,
got
that's yeah. Me. I'm kind of a motorhead, so
Mhm.
there's probably sometimes some little cars, little motorcycles that will and then I would have a feeling for it. I'd be like, oh, dude, that's like a '70s, or, whatever. I
right
could almost knowledgeably discourse in what Hot Wheels are worth. Sometimes, other times I can't
sometimes.
remember anything about it, but yeah, I just don't know. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I just can't say. It looks really cool, but it seems like it'd cost a lot to make, and then you got to sell it, and then
Yeah,
like you
it's
said,
not
and
it's
then
not cheap. It's not
yeah,
cheap. You know what I mean? I can, offline I'll tell you the prices if you want to know and stuff, but
yeah,
it's not cheap. Obviously, the to get the price even lower, you know what I mean, reasonably. I would have to pre-order a buttload of them. And I mean, like more than I think I would sell through the campaign. So there's just, you know, I'm not like Ethan Ben Skyver that has a huge fan base. They'll just buy the crap out of whatever I got. You know what I mean?
Even
So
some of the really, really big guys can wind up with more of those things than they actually sold and have to have a place to keep. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, yeah, but it has been designed. It has been
It
created.
is cool. Yeah, it's again, yeah, no pejorative on my end at all. I'm just saying that I'm the wrong guy to talk to. But yeah,
Yeah.
it looks really cool. And if you've got some um Alzheimer's just kicked in. You got some Todd McFarlane statues, and or if you just want to, I do think it's cool, and I also think that there's two sides to the deal. But
Well, I didn't do it. I didn't do it strictly to sell them to the public. In fact, I did it.
well, it's a way
Uh,
to support a campaign, and I think it's pretty
well,
cool
yeah,
if that's a way. It's hard to come up with. Some campaigns make a lot of money because they can sell off original art from
that is
somebody this
true.
and that.
And some campaigns, kind of price the market heavily. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I have limitations to what I will do. You know what I mean? I could charge. I mean, I literally could charge what I'm charging right now plus shipping. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And what I do is I charge what I do right now with shipping included. And, it lowers my profit margin significantly, but
Yeah.
but
Well,
it
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, so when I was trying to get logged in, I heard what you said about, what you're willing to, charge somebody for a comic book. And,
right.
you know, I mean, here's the thing though. I had a real sharp pencil when I figured out that, all right, I'm doing 3, 4 times as many pages as the average guy does. I'm going to print it on good paper with good cover, and, it's going to be perfect now. And that's what I'm doing. But I don't know, it's not, maybe it's collectible, but I don't really, that's not really my aspiration for it. It's just my aspiration to put out a magazine about the scene and do it 4 times a year and yada yada. And if I could get one printed, it'd be a whole lot, if I get the first one printed, it'd be a lot easier to do the second one. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But the point is, I priced it at $20, $110 shipping. And
Yeah.
I probably would have sold just as many of them if I put it at $25. And
Yeah.
that would
I would
in retrospect,
yeah. I
after
probably I
after
probably would
changes
too.
in what everything costs, but I was trying to do the same thing. I was
Yeah.
just like trying to, here, this is pretty affordable and it's a whole lot thicker than what you're, it's this damn big. This is the, it's big.
Right. No,
It's really big. I
that's a
mean, yeah.
good value. That's a good
Yeah.
value you got
So
there.
yeah, which is what I was trying to do. But as to the subject, and probably needs to be a private discussion like everything else we've talked about. But yeah, it's a tough nut to crack. What can I charge for something? I don't want to charge too much. I want to be able to sell it. Oh fuck! I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to make
with
some
me it's
fucking t-shirts. I'm gonna have to make some fucking t-shirts just so that I got some way for somebody to throw me an extra $20 because they believe this thing's worth doing. So, huge thank you to all you people that have. Yeah, the t-shirts are done. We have t-shirts.
yeah, have you posted them on the thing yet to sell? You're in
Well,
demand,
I
right?
mean, they're just for the backers. I don't sell any more t-shirts, dude. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, you're definitely not a salesman. It's just that's that part's clear. That part's
Yeah,
clear.
spoilers. Spoilers. You got
Yeah.
me, I can
Yeah.
step up to sell your book and all that, but I mean, I don't know. It's really, it's really good. It's got a lot of cool stuff in it. It's got, I got some fan art of that guy, and we got, one of the things I wanted to do was really spread it around. And there's some really cool dudes that do some really great fan art. So we've got a few pages of that, and I don't know. If you want to hear somebody that really kind of knows about comic books, ask Art T. Bear
Hmm.
about comic books. There's a pretty
I
good interview in there with Art T. Bear.
Art is
And it's
a great dude.
ostensibly, if the damn thing ever prints, the first place you're going to see 8 pages of Narwhal's vampire movie throwback thing.
Yeah, if you got to race him to it now because he just started his campaign. So
Yeah, I know, man. I want to kill myself. I just want to hit myself in the head with a claw hammer repeatedly.
that doesn't sound very fun.
It's
All right, well,
frustrating, dude.
so let's go ahead and end this stream and chat
Yeah, let's do that.
backstage. And
I take back everything that I just said for the last hour or so, maybe more.
Everybody, thank you for coming and hanging out with us.
Delete this content immediately.
In the description, there's a link to the Captain Love campaign. If you have any questions or you want to just tell me something, you can fully leave a comment. I do read them and sometimes even respond to them. So thank you very much for coming, and